Okay guys, welcome back. This is your DIY assistant. Today we got a 2020 Toyota Corolla in the garage. And this very car here, I want to give you guys a very impressive advice I gave this customer, but unfortunately he didn't listen to me. So the impossible happened. Now what happened here, I have topped off refrigerant in this very car like twice. And I told him, look, we have to address the leak problem to avoid, though I didn't put it straight, to be honest with you guys, but I know definitely since he's topping it off with refrigerant, he knows that there is leak there. So I told him, look, we gotta fix a leak on this we gotta fix this very problem here so that it doesn't escalate. But he really didn't give it a thought. So I said, okay, no issues. Then he came some other time. We also topped it off. And he's using R1234YF. This is 2020, so he's using R134YF. Just about a week later, after when I added the last refrigerant, I called him to confirm how the car is doing, because within those time, he actually came sooner than he used to be. And I was wondering, I within myself know that no, this system is not going to retain refrigerant for a long time. So I did actually put a call through to know how the system was performing. And guess what? He said the system is performing fine, because I know there's gonna be a time bomb. Now, afterwards, something happened. He called me about this morning and told me, look, the AC stopped working. He felt the compressor has given away. But before then, there was some refrigerant it came with the previous time that had oil in it from Johnson's, and I told him I don't have the retrofit which I can actually use to pull the can tap I can use to get the refrigerant inside. Bottom line, we added a refrigerant and no oil. So what happens when you keep adding refrigerant, when your car AC system keep leaking and you keep adding refrigerant without oil? Well, things is gonna go haywire, and that's exactly what happened to this very car here. This is the resultant effect of that very situation. The way they designed this very compressor here, the people who were adding refrigerant through the suction pipe, suction side, it gets in only to get stuck somewhere around here. It never really made it into this very place, and this is what needed the oil the most. So the whole Johnson's oil, it didn't get in here. Now let me get to show you guys there, because I like pulling or tearing down the compressor down like this so I can see, we'll call it a forensic analysis. You can see the amount of dirt coming down there, so I can know exactly the level of the damage that is there and know how I'm going to deal with the system to avoid the reoccurrence, because it often takes a significant effort to get it back after when it encounters this kind of problem. So however, this is a paper towel here. We just got the oil out of the system. You can see how clean that is, like transmission fluid, because the original transmission refrigerant oil that is inside the system is dead. So why am I making this very video is to tell you guys who your car AC system leaks refrigerant, you top it off and you feel it's okay, you're not gonna solve the leak problem. You are pricing another compressor, and it's not gonna be funny when it's gonna hit you, because just imagine a little leak causing the catastrophic failure of the compressor, and the shops are gonna be smiling when they see you guys, because, well, you made it happen. You know you bought it. So At this very point right now, we've dismantled everything, about to start the whole process afresh, cleanse the system thoroughly, and by so doing, we can ensure that the next compressor that's going to be going inside this very system here don't die of cardiac arrest. Now, let me give you guys extra knowledge, which most oftentimes you will not see, because that's not part of the video, but I want to do it as a bonus. Like here, we got the condenser here. A lot of people are going to tell you you should throw away the condenser, get another one. Well, if you look inside here, this condenser is damn clean here and here, so there is no much of contamination there. Now, if you want to catch some other details of the contamination, you gotta look at the discharge pipe, which is this guy right here. There is no much, as you can see how clean the oil is, and this side also, they are both clean. However, I don't trust that some of the particles wouldn't jump into this guy through this very place here, but observing this one here and not seeing any debris kind of give me more rest assured that inside here is going to be very clean. But notwithstanding, I still want to flush it to be sure, because I don't want to gamble with another compressor, and that is what you should do. Now, the second bonus is Toyota did a shitty job here. Yeah, they did all they could to keep mechanics away, to keep mechanic from, so you broke something. There is a seal here, rubber seal that is here. You can't pull that off without breaking it, so you should prepare getting that rubber before trying to perform this service, else things is gonna go crazy. There is a plastic rubber they did here. So ask me, for most of you who talk about reliability of Toyota, they are now using rubber for their engine parts like BMW, and now they are now equipping the engine with a electric coolant pump. So now let's get over here again. What happened to the old traditional way of tightening 10 here, 10mm bolts, the way they often do it? It's not that it fails, but they just decide to, so they can sell some little parts. Toyota likes selling parts. They love selling parts. So have it at the back of your mind that this very guy here, the black stuff, which you're gonna pull out of this very guy here, is gonna break, and there are two seals there, so you're gonna be needing to replace it when you are done to avoid any problem. Now, for this very car, where this very problem started from originally is a leak between the expansion valve. Look at it right there. Right, it's right in there. You can see a whole stains right there. So, but since he didn't want to buy my advice, since I told him let's address the problem, now it escalated into what we now have now, that the compressor failed, and this is costing a huge amount of money. So guys, next you're going into, let me still give you guys more details. Look at it. Look at this shit. If you don't know how terrible this is, look at it. These are metal shavings. A serious metal shavings, because there are lack of lubrication. All right, I want to show you guys more details. Okay, look at it. Look at that. It's way terrible. That's the bearing that is so grinded there. Oh shit. I'm gonna give you guys how the good one looks like. Now you can see the good one here. You can see how it grinded a lot of them. So you can reuse this very shaft here, because it has been bruised, seriously bruised. And it's not just one, it's many of them are bruised. And for most other system, I'm setting the, okay, here is the last kicker. One of the greatest questions which a lot of you guys are going to be asking, if you have your curious mind as well, it is why is it that when this very system failed, it didn't expel all this crap into the discharge side? Because it often does that. And those are actually one of the main reasons why it fails, why the next compressor fails. Now let's observe the discharge part of the compressor. Here is the suction, so we shouldn't be expecting any dirt to come in through there. But however, if we look at this very housing here, this bell, second close to the bell housing, that is where the discharge part is. So want to take a critical observation. This is one of the critical cross-examination that a technician needed to make a very good judgment and decision. So if we look at here, I'm seeing some particles here, but it didn't flow into anywhere. I don't have any light to be able to show you guys what this looks like. All right, so now you guys can see it. That's incredible. I like this phone. You can see that small dirt there, so we only push it just a little bit. But if we look at here, there's a whole lot of dirt down here, which is very crazy. But it didn't export it here because why? Immediately when it hooked up into this very guy here, it destroys the pulley. This is the pulley. It destroys the pulley. There is a metallic aluminum that is here, so it destroys it, and therefore the motion keep going on because the engine can't get stopped. So what we only succeeded in recovering from here is this very guy. This is the only healthy part out of this whole thing. The rest are junk. So guys, I hope you find this very helpful to knowing exactly what to do when your compressor failed in your Toyota models or any newer models, right? So tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you in the next one.